Hey everyone, how you doing? I'm Maria from My Cancer Journey. If you've just tuned into my channel, I vlog about my cancer diagnosis, which is an advanced cancer, my treatment, what I've been up to, how it's making me feeling, and life in general. So welcome. It has been a very, very busy week for me. And this past week, I had an appointment with palliative care. Then I had a paracentesis appointment. And most recently, yesterday, I had a blood draw appointment with my oncologist, and then chemotherapy and a surprise blood transfusion. So very busy week, lots of new information, and it's always ever evolving, my treatment plan, which I think is really good because it means that my oncologists are really paying attention, or my whole team in general is really paying attention to my symptoms and really adapting to what I individually need for treatment, care, or therapy. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go to each of those stages. Oh yeah, and Thanksgiving was this last week as well, so that was wonderful. I hope everyone had an awesome holiday to those who celebrated Thanksgiving on November 24th. I love this. I'm able to go to the store because I'm in my wheelchair. Can't walk, but I can go. So happy. So I booked an appointment and attended appointment earlier this week on Monday with palliative care. It is important to note that palliative care is not hospice. I am not giving up my treatment. I am not preparing to die at all. Palliative care focuses on the patient as a whole, both mind, body, and spirit. And they work with my treating oncologists to help assist with the treatment of my pain and other symptoms of my treatment plan. They also address They also provide emotional and spiritual support for both the patient and their family. They also help navigate the healthcare system. I think since my diagnosis, I've been very disappointed in the healthcare system. It seems that nearly every single test that my oncologists order need to be pre-approved or my insurance will deny the coverage. When I was in the hospital for an emergency room hospital visit, an emergency CAT scan was initially denied by my health insurance because they didn't get pre-approval. Well, I'm in the emergency room and it was an emergency CAT scan. So how they think that a pre-approval is really practicable in those circumstances is beyond me. Many of my medications need pre-authorization by my insurance company. And it's not like if my doctor prescribes the medications that I'm able to get it that day unless we decide we're going to pay out of pocket, because the insurance companies take their own sweet time in second guessing our oncologists' specialized knowledge with what is appropriate for us and provide pre-approvals. It takes days. There were 1 or 2 medications that took more than a week. I think that is disgusting. I think it's wrong, but unfortunately that is the system that we have. And there were more than one occasion where we did pay out of pocket because we simply weren't, going to wait for that medication. But my tip for you is there are a lot of coupons that are available to reduce that out-of-pocket costs. So if you go on, you could Google it. GoodRx gave us some really good discounts. If you're over the age of 50 and a member of AARP, they also have a medication discount card. On a couple of occasions, that brought it down a little bit. So there are other options, because the full retail price that they'll quote you is ridiculous. And with these coupons that you can find online, reduces it by 70%, sometimes 80%. So that's something to consider. But I digress as far as that, as far as the healthcare, but they do help with the pre-approvals. And also a palliative care team could also help with coordinating care either in-home or in your own community, which is really helpful as well. So at my appointment with palliative care, as you may know, I struggle with pain management. So we went over various scenarios, and well, scenarios isn't quite the word I want to use. We went over what my current pain regimen was, and one of the things that I don't like is the side effects to the opioids that I'm receiving. And so one thing that we're looking at is that whether or not the inflammation in my body is sparking off some of this pain. And if we can control the pain by maybe doing a low-dose steroid, then maybe that's a good option, where a low-dose steroid could, one, reduce the inflammation, but also reduce the pain, hopefully reducing the amount of painkillers that I'm taking. I don't like being on all the painkillers because they'll stop you up. So there's a lot of medications that I have to take to make sure I'm regular, if you know what I mean. We also looked at other things as well. My breathlessness, which is really limiting on me. I walk a little bit and I'm fighting to catch my breath. And the physician who examined me had determined that my left lung that has the pleural effusion is really running at approximately 1/2 capacity, which certainly would cause some of these symptoms. And so we discussed how that could be addressed. And, you know, there's going to be the coordination of care between what this physician found. He'll contact my oncologist and discuss, hey, what is the plan? What stage should we get to determine whether or not a thoracentesis is appropriate? Now, a thoracentesis, and I hope I'm saying this right, is where they put a needle in the pleural cavity of my lung and drain the pleural effusion. So we'll see what delightful experience that holds, and I'm sure I'll let you know. I am a little afraid of that, but I'm just hoping that it won't be as painful as my first paracentesis, but I'll keep you updated on that. But overall, I really was very appreciative of the palliative care team. I'm going to be working with them because quality of life is very important for me, and I feel like I've lost a lot because prior to these symptoms and my diagnosis, I was very, very active, and then I slowly lost my ability to be active. I hiked regularly. I swam every day, which started to become reduced because of all the abdominal pain that I was feeling. I just couldn't swim without a lot of pain. And then I'd be very afraid to swim unless someone was out there with me because of the pain. So on one hand, I loved to swim, but I couldn't. I mean, now it's impossible to swim outside in my swimming pool because it's way too cold. But, you know, the symptoms became unbearable in the summer when we were there, or when I was able to swim. But I'm looking forward to getting back to maybe some of the things that I enjoy, or even being able to take a 15-minute walk with friends. I mean, I can't even manage a 5-minute walk right now, and it's so frustrating. But hopefully my quality of life will be more improved with the addition of the palliative care team. On Wednesday, I was scheduled for a paracentesis, which was perfect in timing because the next day was Thanksgiving. So I'd be able to feel my best. And oh, by the way, it was also my week of missing chemo. So my chemo side effects were reduced in comparison to if I had just had chemo a few days before. So I went in for my paracentesis, which is the draining of the fluid in my abdomen, and it is always ultrasound guided, at least the way my care is. And so I went in and I was talking with the team who was assisting me, and I explained to them, you know, that I had seen palliative care. I thought it was really helpful. I also said that I felt more fluid was further up on that date than, you know, in my lower abdomen, which is where the needle is typically inserted when I have these paracenteses. So they did an evaluation as far as the amount of fluid in the area, and they noted that while I did have some ascites in my abdominal area, there wasn't sufficient pockets that made it safe for them to remove it at that time. I also know that the number of tumors that are in my abdomen also presents challenges for them, but I believe this time it was just they couldn't find the right pocket where it would be safely removed. But during that process in examining the fluid, they noted that there was a large pleural effusion in my left lung, or around my left lung, because the pleural effusion is liquid not in my lung, but surrounding my lung, which basically supported what palliative care was telling me on Monday. And it was presented that, you know, there could be a thoracentesis if my doctor wanted to order it, but I had gone in for, you know, a different procedure, and the idea of a needle being stuck in my back near my lung, I'm like, I have an appointment with my oncologist on Friday. We'll talk about it. I'm not sure if I said earlier what a thoracentesis is, but basically that's when they remove the liquid that surrounds your lung, which is called pleural effusion. Not to be confused with ascites, which is the liquid in your abdomen. So, one good thing that came out of this is that the production of ascites in my abdomen continues to be reduced. So who knows, maybe someday I won't have any more ascites. Fingers crossed. But now we need to get rid of the pleural effusions. If it isn't one thing, it's another. But yeah. Thursday was Thanksgiving for us, and it was so awesome. So awesome to see my family, and I'm so appreciative that everyone really went out of their way to ensure that I was safe. because my white blood cell counts were really low, and I haven't been able to see a lot of these people in a while because I haven't been driving since August, and they have lives of their own. So it's rare to see everyone together. And so we went to my husband's parents' home, as we usually do, for every holiday first. And, I was just able to visit with everyone. I'm not able to help, which is very weird for me. I usually help in getting things ready for the table or getting things ready for the family. So that was a really odd feeling. But whatever, it was great. And my grandniece, I got to hold for a while. She's 5 months and she is just so cute. And hey, when you're holding a baby who is cute, engaged, and you just love her to death, I mean, what else can make you feel happier? And I typically host the second half of every holiday. So typically I will have Thanksgiving at our house, and people will start coming over around 3 o'clock. But this year, there is no way I could have hosted Thanksgiving. I don't even have the energy to be able to make our nightly dinners. So making a Thanksgiving feast was impossible, but I didn't even need to worry about that because maybe last month, at the end of October, my daughter reached out to me and offered that she and her husband would host our family Thanksgiving. So after we left my husband's family's home, we then went to my daughter's home, and it was so good to see everyone. Unfortunately, one of my sons, my youngest child, was sick, so he didn't come to Thanksgiving, but I was able to see everyone else, and that was so great. My daughter made an unbelievably happy announcement, so I am so excited. Gives me something to look forward to, and Thanksgiving was perfect. I, took naps at both homes. I, can't fight this fatigue. When you're tired, you're tired. But everyone knew that I was fighting fatigue anyway. But it was just so great to, just visit and be with family and just enjoy the time that we have together and catching up on other people's lives and really, not talking about cancer the majority of the time, because most conversations are about cancer, and I want to hear about what's going on with everyone else. And Thanksgiving definitely gave me that opportunity where I could just catch up with other people's lives. And my cancer wasn't wasn't like the primary for everything. I hope everyone who celebrated Thanksgiving had an awesome holiday. I love the holidays. And now that it's the day after Thanksgiving, it's time to put all the Christmas things up for us. I love Christmas. Christmas is my favorite holiday. And I told my husband that I wanted to make sure that I decorate as much or more as I always have each year. So I just love Christmas. I love the spirit. I love the hope that Christmas provides. So on Friday, I met with my oncologist, had some blood drawn, and I was scheduled for chemotherapy. Chemo went forward. I have some clips for you there. But in talking with the oncologist, there's going to be more tests that are going to be ordered. We're going to have CAT scans on my chest and abdomen to see how this new chemotherapy is working for me. And we also discussed my lung function and the breathlessness. So I will be scheduled for a thoracentesis, I don't know, sometime next week. So hopefully that can help with my breathlessness. I would be so appreciative of that. I'll let you know. I'm a little afraid of the procedure, but I think there's a lot of things that or treatments that have been ordered that initially I've been apprehensive about, and then ultimately see how much relief it brings me, that needs to be my focus rather than, oh, it may cause some pain, or just the idea of the side effects. Anytime they go through all the side effects, it's pretty jarring. But I think what's important for me is to keep in mind how each of these treatments are going to help me in the long run and give me the best chance of survival, and go with it from there. The blood work also showed that my levels were really low and I was anemic and needed red blood cells. So I wanted to be able to have the blood transfusion right after chemotherapy if possible. That all depends on the blood bank and whether or not they could get the blood by the necessary time. Luckily, I had a morning appointment, so I was able to have a surprise blood transfusion after my scheduled chemotherapy. I'm glad it was all able to be done in one shot and I wouldn't have to go back on Monday because, as I said, I don't drive. So anytime I have an appointment outside of my home, I need to find someone to drive me. That has not been an issue at all. All of my friends have really stepped up to help. So now I'm ready for day 1 of cycle 2 on the gemcitabine and the carboplatin. And after seeing my doctor today, I need another blood transfusion. My blood levels are really low. I'm anemic. So round 2 of the blood transfusions will hopefully happen today. Hopefully I'll be feeling much better by the end of the weekend. And gemcitabine just finished. Now I am going to get the carboplatin. Getting the carboplatin right now. That's going to be another 30 minutes, and then hopefully by the time that's done, then the blood will be here for my blood transfusion. We'll see. Finishing up the blood transfusion now, and then I'll go home. I'm tired. Probably go home and sleep for a while.
Done, so I'm gonna let you
I
go.
hope everyone had a great week. As usual, thank you so much for all of your support and your well wishes. And, I love hearing the stories that you may have for anyone diagnosed with stage 3 or stage 4 cancer who is kicking cancer's ass. You go. It really brings me a lot of hope. So I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone enjoys their weekend and this upcoming week. Have a good one.